being together as a family. There's something special about it.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Jeff Heilman Project. Hopefully you guys all had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Honey, you're wearing the perfect coat for what we are about to talk about. This jacket, a little history behind the jacket, and those of you that are listening via audio and cannot see us, but we do invite you to come and watch us on YouTube. Jeff is wearing
visit us at the station.
Leather motorcycle sport jacket with
it's like a MotoGP Italian
stripes, and it says racing on it, that we got at the Peterson Auto Museum in Los Angeles. Shout out to Peterson Auto Museum with some of the most fabulous collections of
the Wabi Sabi Porsche.
Just vintage.
If you haven't been to the Wabi Sabi Porsche,
I guess they have that on permanent display because it was a Porsche. Like, we went for the Porsche show, and they were all, I think that they rotate their collection, but it was awesome. It's right there by the art museum.
It's across the street from the Modern Museum of Art.
Like Llama,
right?
but it's not Llama. It's
MoMA
MoMA for New York.
MoMA for LA.
I don't know what it is for LA, but it was a really cool art museum there as well.
South of downtown. It's a beautiful area.
So what we're going to be talking about today, considering it is November, end of November, early December, and we're going into the holidays, as we are going to talk about road trips. Hence the perfect timing for the jacket.
I would happen to wear this, okay.
Because we have a big family. We have 7 kids. You have done lots of road trips before we got married.
I drove 1,000 miles in one day before on a road trip with the family in the back.
And before you had like this graduation gift, right? To drive at 18.
Yeah, my dad gave me some money. Yeah, I saved some money and my dad gave me some money.
And you went from California to Pennsylvania?
I drove from San Jose, California to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and back.
Did you make it to New York on that trip?
No, not on that trip.
And so just, I thought that we could talk about, because, it's families, it's National Lampoon's Vacation. No, it's with families, it's vacation time, a lot of road trips.
We almost did 2 road trips this holiday season. We almost did a road trip down to see your dad in Rancho Mirage.
Yeah, we usually go around New Year's to Palm Springs.
Yep.
And
because that's an awesome time to go to Palm Springs.
We also have family that live in Idaho, which is like 14 miles the other way. So like I just thought we could share like some of our tricks with traveling with 7 kids. So one thing that we learned later on in our parenting was to leave as early as you humanly possibly. See, my husband has a natural ability to somehow fall asleep around 6 p.m. every single night.
Ability. Yeah, it's my superpower.
The sun starts going down, and then you can see this glazed look start coming over his eyes, and it's like, oh, it's Jeff's bedtime. So we cannot do any kind of road trip.
But I can wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So we've learned for our circadian rhythm, whatever you may call it, to wake up at like 3 and then go road trip, like head out for the road trip.
Go hard until
3
about
until
late
like
lunch.
8 or not, like, because by then, I mean, that's like 5 hours of wherever you're going. Like, we could get to LA from San Jose in 5 hours if we left at 3 o'clock. Like, we could be in LA by 9 o'clock in the morning when we leave that early. So that's a tip. That's it. If you're traveling with young kids, they sleep mostly because it's still kind of dark. So they sleep most of the morning. And then by the time they start stirring, it's like McDonald's, it's an egg McMuffin. And that's like, I don't know. There's just nothing better. And I'm everybody knows I've been on this weight loss journey.
Jet black
But there's
coffee.
nothing better than a sausage McMuffin with no egg for me at like, 8 o'clock in the morning when you've been on the road for 5 hours and you get a cup of that styrofoam cup, that like triple insulated McDonald's styrofoam cup that makes that weird sound when you rub it.
Exciting.
So leaving early. What else can you? What else? We switched. Tell them about how we started doing that.
Started setting timers on our phones to say that nobody drives for more than 90 minutes.
Yeah, that really seems to help.
And then we started having 3 drivers with Jeffrey, 4 drivers with Joseph, 5 drivers with Matto. And then we had 2 cars a lot of times, but we usually have 3 drivers at least. And so you get 90 minutes on, 3 hours off that you can sleep or read a book or play silly games. The silly games.
That really helps is if you can set your timer to every 90 minutes. Even Madeline and I, when we had a road trip. We drove out to Las Vegas. Stopped in Bakersfield, drove to Las Vegas. And then we would do the same thing. We set it every 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's just a safety thing. Because, you can work for something for hours and hours, but you only have to be an idiot for 12 seconds and then bad things happen. So you have to be really, really careful, and anything you can do to increase alertness and response times and just safety. Plus, like, I wouldn't necessarily say I drive the speed limit, but I definitely don't. I'll set it on cruise control. Yeah. I don't need to be racing in and out of traffic. These kids that race in and out like I used to do every single time.
Yeah.
I did realize that you can basically get almost anybody to let you in if you're aggressive enough as a driver. And I just don't want to be that guy anymore. Too much stress.
So let's see. So leave super early, change drivers every 90 minutes. Another one is prepared snacks. Like I'll go to Walmart and I'll get like snacks that the kids don't normally like. It's a treat, like treat food, like, miniature marshmallows and little pretzels. And like, I'll go and I'll make trail mix, which is just like, I'll get a whole bunch of different boxes of cereal and pretzels and candies. And we'll, throw it in a big plastic bag, like a trash bag, like a 13-gallon trash bag. I'll put it on because we have that many kids. So I'll throw all of it into a big trash bag and I'll shake it up, and then I'll divvy it out into snack packs and snack bags. The last road trip we were on when we drove out to Bella's wedding, I gave everybody a brown paper sack, and then they all had like I got those water bottle flavoring things that you pull off. That's a single-use water bottle thing. And I put those inside the brown paper sack, and I put the snacks inside the brown
Crystal
paper
Light
sack.
Eaches.
Yeah, exactly. And then I made sure everybody had water. And so, like, making sure that kids have food. I found personally, I have my own hashtag when it comes to road tripping. And it's hashtag snacks like a trucker. That's my hashtag, snacks like a trucker. And I don't even know that truckers snack, but at least for me, I get like.
You've seen them?
I have to chew. It's like I gotta snack while I'm driving
stay
in
awake.
order to just kind of not even stay, just to stay from being bored. It can become so monotonous when you're just staring at the,
Oh, that's why I listen to books on tape. Like for me, that's the thing.
Snack. I'm a snacker.
If I can listen to books on tape and have coffee, some water. I remember Mitch's dad he was a long haul truck driver with cars, and I mean, he would do like 16-hour runs. He would like
I remember
that
was before Red Bull, man. That was like
gosh.
all black coffee. But like I found that if I forage, like if I can have a little on my armrest,
pineapple,
like a little tray of like a little bunch of little different things, and then I can just kind of like and we have this awesome. If you're in California and you're doing the coast
Casa de
Fruta, oh my gosh, you have to stop at Casa de Fruta and get some dried fruit. Chocolate covered anythings. I mean, just the candies.
Oh man, the spicy mango. Like they have a jalapeno. They have a jalapeno spicy dried mango and papaya.
And it's got the tahini or the whatever the chili.
My mouth is watering just thinking about it. It's so good.
Time for a road trip. I'm getting excited.
You got pineapple. You got like 3 different flavors of candied pineapples. Yeah. Oh, the nuts, the butter toffee peanut. They have butter toffee peanuts. They have butter toffee macadamia nuts. They got butter toffee cashews. Whatever you like. whatever you want, they've got in the fruit stuff. Candied apples, chocolate covered caramel pecan turtles. I love those.
There's always car bingo. Like, I think you can find the bingo things, and the kids mark off when they see a street sign or whatever. Okay, so it used to be a game. So there's two games that I don't feel like the kids even want to talk about anymore because they're so sick of these two games. One is I'm thinking of an animal game.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I remember every child like between 7 and under loves the I'm thinking of an animal game in the car, but then it gets it's like it's so bad after a while because it's like, I'm thinking of an animal. What is it? That's the question. So you're thinking of an animal. What is it? And then you ask, Jeff, ask me a question about my animal.
How big are its ears?
Small.
Is it a mouse?
For the sake of this episode, yes, it's a mouse. No, actually, I don't know. But I'm thinking of an animal. So one person thinks of an animal.
Gave it to me.
And then the other people ask all kinds of questions. But you go around. You take turns asking questions. So it's not like one person asks. You keep in mind, we've got 8 people in the car. So it goes, oldest to youngest. And what does it have this? And does it have that? Is it bigger than a bread box? Is it smaller? So it's I'm thinking of an animal game until you get to it. And then it evolved into I'm thinking of a Disney character. I mean, we were like really reaching for it. So there's that game. You're welcome. The I'm thinking of an animal game.
And then there's the one that you start with the letter that it ends with. What is that game called?
Oh my gosh, Madeline is so done with that.
Yeah, I don't think we're allowed to play that game.
I don't even know
That's gone on for like
we came
hours.
Up with it. But let's give the people an example.
Let's let people know how wacky we really are.
We typically use food, and so I'll say avocado.
And I would say orange juice,
eggplant,
tahini,
nectarine,
eggplant.
You lose. So it's you start with a food like tomato, and then the next person says orange because it ends in O, and then the next person says eggplant because it starts with E and then it ends in T, and so then it just goes around and around and around. And you can do that with food. You can do that with names of people. You could.
So when you're on the way to Grandma's house this time.
So those two games are ones that we have exhausted in our road trip history, but super fun. Like, it's just such a great bonding time to be able to be in the car. For us, it was like one of the only things that we could afford to do with that many. I mean, people wonder, like, why do you have, we literally have 600, I haven't counted. I think we have 600 movies on
Apple Tunes,
iTunes,
Apple TV,
because we have such a big family that when you pay $14.99 for a movie, that's less than taking everybody out to the movie.
$14.99 for one movie.
Yeah,
that's for all the kids that they can watch forever.
Yeah,
versus $14 for my ticket.
And we became the house that had the newest releases first because we would
because
pay
we're
for
like,
them.
I'm not going to spend $200 to take my kids to the movies.
So
we'll do it, but not often.
Yeah. Yeah, so but now with the advent of the phones, and it's a pretty quiet road trip now. The kids are older; they all
spend time on their headphones,
watch on their phones and YouTube and streaming, and we'll have a book up front. But just for those who still have little ones, I wanted to make sure that we made an episode dedicated just to you and the road trip joy that you should have moving forward, thanks to some of these tips.
That's right.
And some of these
Plus,
tricks.
It's so fun when there's a I wonder if we can find that picture of that abandoned building. It's just that cool abandoned building on the way to Boise that we stop at a couple of times. We've stopped at. It's like an old restaurant or something. Maybe Andrew can ping me for it.
It's like a gas station, and then they've got like an old car.
There's nothing there. The building's probably condemned since the
Mm-hmm.
60s. Like it's just been sitting there with nothing, just the wind blowing against it and the snow falling. But it's a cool old building with this old metal sign. And we get to stay at that place and stop off and look at it and take pictures of the Jeep. We've taken pictures of the Jeep in front of that building, I think. And you see people that you haven't seen in a really long time. And it seems like, because everybody I know does a job in tech, that we all live over Zoom calls all the time. But when you actually, which is an amazing technology, it is an amazing technology to be able to see people along with a phone call. And it seemed like an amazing technology when I first started using it back in 2003 and 4 when we got acquired by Cisco. There was telepresence. You could do a telepresence call in 2004 from the Cisco office, and nobody had that technology. It certainly wasn't on our phones. Now it's on our phones, it's on our devices, but to actually see somebody in person, to be in their home, to smell the smell of their cooking and their soaps and cleaning agents in their house and the clothing and their towns where they live, like to see the people and see the elevation changes. And it's just, travel is so awesome. And we happen to have your mom, who's 1 day's drive north, your dad, who's a day's drive south, your real dad, who's a day's drive south in Vegas now.
Biological dad.
Biological dad. Yeah, biological dad. They're both real dads. They both did the real dad job.
Yeah. They're as real as you can get.
That's right. And then my dad lives north by like 4 hours. My mom's a little far. My mom's in Albuquerque, but
Yeah, we've done it.
It's a
long
we've done it in our younger years. I don't like getting cankles being on the road for 17 hours.
Break it up. We'll get to Albuquerque in 4 days instead of 1.
But to have somebody that's a day's drive that you can make, that you can do it in a day, is just really, it's great to come. Feels like bringing in a herd, when you're on the trail, when you get done and it's 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon and it's starting to get dark. And
well, it's just such a beautiful, if you live in the United States, I mean, I'm sure if you're watching this and you live in the country that you live in, Europe as well, it's just so nice to be able to get the change of scenery, see the different topographical locations. Here in California alone, we've got desert, we've got snow, we've got, lakes and rivers and the ocean. So there's just, we'd encourage you. We encourage you to get out and go do a road trip and go see somebody. The cars were made to be driven, and it's good to get out and go and do those things. The only other tips that I might have would be to just, plan your route, see if there's any things that you can stop and see along the way. Make sure that there's plenty of opportunity and that you give yourself enough time to stop off and do maybe, go to the McDonald's play place or go to the rest stop and let the kids run. We liked it. Last time we did a road trip, we took the Nerf football and we got out at the rest stops and then we threw the football out a bit. And that was something
that's
active.
Right. I remember I almost threw my arm
more
out.
Fun. More fun, but
that was painful.
If there's you just let us know. What did you do? What have you done? Are you going anywhere this holiday season? Do you have any plans? We'd like to hear from you. We'd like to hear what you guys are up to. Winter's long, but our desire to get out and to go see and to adventure is better than the length of the weather and the trips and the time. But
being together as a family, there's something special about it. You and I, we call it, in our culture, we call it high fives in the hallway, which is just the fact that you have so many people moving in a small house, moving past each other, that I just set a policy that we're not going to go past another human in our family that we love without acknowledging their presence. We don't walk past each other on phones. We don't.
Got to make sure to make that eye contact.
Yeah, we make the
eye contact.
Make the eye contact.
That's to say, make sure when you say goodbye that you look whoever you're saying goodbye
you're looking them in the eye.
In the eyes, because you don't know, it could be their last time you see them, so you got to say bye contact.
Yeah, exactly right. So, Jessica and I like we have a lot of friends who've done really well financially. We have a lot of friends that have had great career expansion. We have friends that are professional athletes and magicians and have shows where they perform in front of the public, entrepreneurs. And we've done some of those things. I played professional golf for 10 years. That was really fun. I got to live my dream there. And I've certainly done speaking engagements in front of large audiences and had some modest success in business and a lot of failures too. But the main thing that we pride ourselves on, I think, is our team, our family. We love our kids. We love each other. We love doing this podcast. We love creating an opportunity for each of our little ones to grow up and realize that they're part of something big. It's important. It's important to us. Not everybody wanted to have 7 kids. We really did. Not everybody wanted to homeschool their kids, and there's no judgment for people that don't want to homeschool their kids. But I didn't want to take my kids that we worked so hard to have and to raise and to feed, and then send them to somebody else to raise when we were both home. I've been working from home for 20 years, and you've been stay at home for almost 30. So we just figured we could do it ourselves, and if we were going to screw them up, at least we'd screw them up ourselves. We didn't screw them up. When we think about the holidays coming up, it's probably the same as most people. Is that you're thinking about seeing people you haven't seen, and there's the alcoholic uncle and the aunt that grabs your butt or
The
whatever.
conspiracy theorists.
The conspiracy theorists and the crazy political conversations that take place. Certainly adjacent to an election like what we just had, but there's also a sense of safety and meaning and connectedness that I think, at least for me, it still really matters.
Tradition is grounding. And I think that as long as it doesn't become a religious practice to where it interferes with your ability to function, there's so many good things that come out of traditions and keeping family traditions. And one of those things is rooted and remembering where you came from. And, as long as we were able to go back to grandma's house, I called it True North, my True North, as long as I could continue to go back to the same place,
Yeah.
it brought me to a center in my life. And so there are some, the way that Aunt Candy makes her yams, or the way that, Uncle Bobby burns the stuffing every year, and Dad has to filter out the gravy from the lumps. Like these are the things that become what we look forward to. These are the nuances in our lives that bring us humanity and character. And so we just pray for you guys and believe that you're going to have a fantastic holiday season, that there'd be no unnecessary drama involved, but that it would be filled with joy and happiness and memories and good smells and good feelings, all at the end of a nice road trip.
Yeah, at the end of a nice road trip. I'd also like to take a moment and just recognize that this is the first Thanksgiving that we're going to have without grandma or grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
Last year we had grandpa only, and I think the 2 Thanksgivings before we had grandma only because grandpa was in the hospital.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in the hospital for both Thanksgivings before?
I remember. Oh, we didn't even really have grandpa at this one. We had to bring him food back. I remember.
That's right.
It was just Auntie, I think, that came.
Yeah.
So the last few Thanksgivings have been, they've been tough because our older generation are, getting older. But yet we maintain, and this year will be the first one without them, and we're going to do it. We're going to have the same food, same meals, same traditions, and we're going to remember why we do what we do and getting together as a family.
And your dad's coming up from Vegas, so we're looking forward to seeing Keith and Marcella from Vegas.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time with your grandparents, with grandma and grandpa. I mean, they were as close to me, I think, as any other family member that I've had, mine or yours. And we miss them for sure. And it's we get to have your cousin and
I've
kids
made it a habit, those of you who are watching, and hopefully you get to do the same, that when I'm in a large family group like that, nobody knows I'm doing it. I mean, my husband would know I'm doing it because he knows it.
What
But
do I know?
I'll just sit on the couch and I'll close my eyes and I'll take some deep breaths and I'll just listen. Just listen to the sounds and just really be there and really just take a deep breath and just listen to the clanking and the laughing and the music and the bickering and the running back and forth and the thumping of the feet. And it's just, it's a moment to really cement ourselves and to create a lasting feeling in our body that we can go back to when things get tough throughout the rest of the year. So happy holidays, everyone. Merry Christmas. And
Merry Christmas. Happy
this
holidays.
is
Happy
coming out
Hanukkah.
before Christmas, but
Happy Kwanzaa.
we will be
Don't forget
having
about Kwanzaa.
more episodes closer to the Christmas date, but just wanted to
Maybe some silly hats.
welcome you into December and your road trips. Let us know where you're going.
Let's see some of those Starbucks bills.
Yeah, right.
I've done some of those.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like
He showed on
$120 on
Facebook.
to get Starbucks for 9 people on the way to the
man.
road.
Oh, that's fun. Tummy trash. That's another thing we didn't talk about. The go on in. It's basically like a shopping spree of grab whatever you can in like the next 2 minutes of tummy trash at the gas station and then get that bill. But that's also
right.
fun. So bye, you guys. Love
Thanks,
you
everybody.
and happy December.
See ya.